This video is sponsored by Hayes Repair Shop. Conveniently located next to Del Perro Pier, our team of all-star mechanics are equipped to handle any problem that you can throw at them. From bikes to trucks and everything in between. Grab a bite and listen to some music while you wait. Hayes Repair Shop, setting the bar for automotive excellence since 2024.
We're going to go ahead and start this debate. Am I right? Am I right?
Sure.
Thank you guys. You guys are great. You guys are great. I'm Bryce Miller. I'm going to be your host for this debate. Okay, I got some great important questions out here for everybody. And then we'll follow it up by opening the floor and this microphone next to me up to the citizens of Los Santos. So you, yes, you can ask your hard working questions to these candidates. Unfortunately, not all of the candidates could make it here today, but let's be grateful for the ones that we do have. We have Franklin, Weed Eagle, Alfie, Runya, and Jehoshaphat. Weed Eagle, wake up.
So fucking boring, man.
All right. Well, Weed Eagle, I know you're short on time, so let's start for you, okay? If you could accomplish only one act during your term as mayor, what would it be? Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, man, I would make sure every cop's fucking murdered and then we overtake them with our own criminal empire reigning over top of all these civilians.
Okay, and then a fun one for you before we switch it off to somebody else.
I'm fucking leaving.
You want to leave right before the fun one?
After the fun one.
Okay, who's the best Spider-Man and who's the best Peter Parker?
Spider-Man? That's gotta be Tobey Maguire.
Okay.
And the best Peter Parker? That's gotta be... Miles Morales.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Remember, class 2's for everyone. And if you're a civilian, you go fuck yourself. Have a good day.
Weed Eagle Dan, everybody. Weed Eagle Dan.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So cool.
One thing I would do if I became mayor. So the one thing that I would do is I think a lot of people across the state need representation. A lot of people before have run on making a city council. I think that logistically making a city council would be a nightmare, but I'd like to give everyone a chance to be heard. And so I'll be making city administrators and state administrators appointed by the mayor's office from people who live in certain areas. So like Paleto, Grapeseed, Sandy, Harmony, districts in the city, the north side, south side, east side, and west side. And they would be able to work within the mayor's office and answer concerns directly from the people that live there. And they'd have people to go and talk to in addition to everyone else existing within the mayor's office, including myself. This one's probably a hot take. Best Spider-Man, Andrew Garfield.
Yes.
Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Alfie.
Well, I want to focus on something that, can get done by the mayor's office and doesn't have to wait for Jerry or the state. And that would be rebuilding the departments as actual government bodies and actual departments. I think the fact that we've been treating the mayor's office like a collection of friends or a group of people rather than a well-oiled machine has made it difficult for people to get their needs to the mayor's office and ask for the things that will enable them and facilitate their communities better. That is the most important question. Miles Morales is definitely Spider-Man, and Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker. So same as Wedingle, but opposite.
Brave. Thank you, Franklin.
This is a very easy one. I'm gonna give the people a voice, and it's really easy to do that. All we gotta do is add the application for the mayor's office, where people can send in the suggestion on stuff that they want to see, and then they can just have a voice really easy, like, because people got the MDW, they're one everywhere, and then we can vote on more stuff, because we only vote on like one thing every like 4 to 6 months, depending upon if the democratic process gets suspended. I think people need to vote on more stuff and at least then at least feel like they have the voice, even if sometimes like the elevator close button. Well, I do in a Kingpin bit, so the best Spider-Man, the dead Spider-Man, and the best Peter Parker, the one from the Into the Spider-Verse where he got the sweatpants after Mary Jane left him and he all crying and stuff.
Yeah. Are you eating a burger while crying?
Well, I think he was having a hard time.
He was having a hard time. And last but not least, Jehoshaphat, please approach the mic. Very patriotic outfit.
Go Jay! Woo! Yeah, Jay!
First
Man,
question.
that's some damn loud cricket. I think it would probably be the criminalization of Cybertrucks.
So you would ban all Cybertrucks?
Exactly.
You would make it a crime to drive them.
Yes.
Would you like to go into details on why?
No.
I hear they're not good for the what do you call it? The greenhouse gases. Well, best Spider-Man. I'm gonna be. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. It's gonna be the '90s animated cartoon Spider-Man.
All right.
And the best Peter Parker is it's gonna be Tobey Maguire. It's gonna be Tobey Maguire, but specifically Tobey Maguire and Spider-Man 3.
Okay. All right. Very good.
But I got a question for you.
Ooh.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
It is.
This Jay guy's so good.
All right. We're going to continue with that mixture of a serious and silly question, as I feel like it's easier to kind of just go down with everything. So, Alfie, you are up for the next duo question. Starting with an important and recent one. Recently, there was a controversy around the Ramathon not being able to function in the current conditions of the state. As mayor, how do you plan to protect businesses and long-standing traditions in the current condition of the state?
It's a good one. So first and foremost, we would plan to work directly with the businesses that are affected. I've done that in my time within the mayor's office, and I'll keep doing that even after after my time in the mayor's office ends. I worked specifically with Daisy. I answered her questions. I let her know when Ramathon was being moved around. And then I've also worked within the office to make sure that they can get some resources that can help them, at the bare minimum, be able to continue to operate. One of the main things that I want to do is focus on compromising on the things that we can do within the mayor's office and the things that we can push for to help make their businesses better. Essentially, one of the things is tow trucks. So tow trucks can also right now help the Ramathon by transporting vehicles that would be returned to the rental person there in Harmony and help the Ramathon move and work much better than before. So essentially compromising and directly talking and working with affected businesses.
Okay. And then the important question, a little bit of a weird one. If you could date one Pokemon, which one would it be?
This just got weird.
If I could date a Pokemon, I'm gonna say it's my favorite Pokemon, Piplup.
Okay. All right. Brave. Thank you. That was really quick, no hesitation, but no one is judging you because we like weird questions here. Franklin.
Actually, before I answer that, I want to speak on that. I was at the Ramathon protests. I suggested that to Jarther, but the fact that we needed a protest and needed to gather at City Hall to get the attention of the mayor, is a major issue. We had no acknowledgement. Daisy and Jarther had no acknowledgement and no idea what was going on until they forced the hand of the mayor. That shouldn't be the case. In order to avoid that in the future and make it better for people, we need to invest more in a communications department. I don't know how many of you realize that we already have one, but if you don't, it's probably because it boils down to a single person with a Twinsta account. That department should be dedicated to town halls, to weekly conferences where you can speak to the mayor, to organizing meetings, to polls and voting. The fact that all of these experts, whether in our communities or in our businesses, have only been asked one time in 6 months to vote for helmets is a slight on our democracy. That we have not had more than a single town hall is disrespectful to the voices of the people. We need to actually treat that like a well-oiled machine and bridge the communication gap between our people and the mayor's office so that the hand, which are the people, can feed the state, which is the mouth, before it starves.
All right. And then the important question, if you could date one Pokemon, which one would it be?
No questions asked. Definitely Cubone, because they got mommy issues.
Thank you.
Another real easy one. You give me the softballs over here, Bryce. So I'm gonna ask a diverse group of people before I do stuff. It's really easy to get multiple opinion to find out if things gonna have wide-reaching ramification, like eliminating all of the property line overnight. I'm also gonna announce the policy a week or two before it implemented, so that people can come forward and share their thought. Again, I think people need to just have a voice. If you just do stuff and then people get upset after, you know, it's only your own fault when you could just, you know, give people a warning like, hey, I think in that maybe, you know, if there are some food places open in Paleto and Sandy Shores, we should close all the food places in the city at the same time. You know, maybe don't do that. Hey, is this a good idea? People be like, no, don't do that. What if I starve it? Onto the Pokemon that I'm gonna date. I'm gonna date the Ditto. It could be whatever Pokemon it wants, but I would love it regardless, unless it's specifically the one that the animated garbage can, because I do not recognize anything after the 3rd or the 4th generation. Thank you.
Well, this is a bit of a stickler, this one is. And also a common issue that pops up, unfortunately, way too common. How many times have we seen issues like this come up? Like, God, I'm fucking pulling a blank, but I know there was something recently. But anyway, in regards to this specifically, communication is key, much like the other candidates have mentioned. I am also planning, if elected, to assist in making sure communication isn't all just one way. We don't have a read-only suggestion box or anything like that. You know what I mean? You know, as a small business owner, I've had to deal with a couple of mayors in my past now, and let's just say the communication has always been a little lacking. I love the last two mayors. I don't know personal beef, but yeah. And as far as the Ramathon itself goes, along with tow trucks, I believe there's some larger vehicle transport options we could look into as well to assist with that.
If you could date one Pokemon, what would it be?
Rogue.
Okay, there's a lot of no hesitation answers in the. Thank you.
Listen,
You're great. You're great.
I mean, have you seen his cheeks?
I'd have to look up a current picture, but I believe you. I believe you. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you. If elected mayor.
Wait, I think I might.
I'll wait.
Yeah, I just need to put the mic back.
For it. Alf.
My bad.
Alfie, if elected mayor, how will you deal with running things despite Jerry Callow's constant absence?
That's a good question. So, essentially, two of the things that I'm running on is communication and empowerment. I want to build a mayor's office that has people employed that are fully empowered, just like city administrators, to go out and tackle the issues that affect each of their areas. I want people to know that they can talk to any deputy mayor, any business council member, any administrator, any admin assistant, and your voice is going to be heard, and we're going to do quick and effective and efficient actions on them. Unfortunately, sometimes we could become bottlenecked by a governor's office that has more recently become more active, but there's a lot of issues that surround it. And so I know exactly what we can do to make things run easier without Jerry Callow, or working with Jerry Callow when he decides to come around. So I want to empower the people, and I want each of you to know that you can come and you can talk to any person in my office if you all decide to elect me, that you can talk to someone and we're going to be able to get something done with or without the governor's office.
Silly question. What's your spirit animal?
My spirit animal would be... I'm going to go with a raccoon. Curious? Actually, you all... I do work sanitation, so you all will already find me jumping into trash cans and trash bins. You'll find me going through trash and everything, so I'm going to go with a raccoon.
All right. Thank you.
2 parts. Just going back to restructuring these departments. Muscle on the skeleton that Sean built before us, giving them a streamlined process for our citizens and taking advantage of the MDW. Mayoral section where we could put roadmaps, whether it is planned events, business proposals, or just recreational needs for their community and neighborhood. Being Jerry Callow is our governor. He is quite often the choke point in getting things done. While we should be primarily focusing on things within the mayor's power, and every one of you who has taken the time to come here today and spend your time asking these questions and hearing us out are owed the respect to have your voices heard. Already very accustomed to getting into the ear of Jerry when we need things as far as the defense attorney pool goes. Not a stranger to it, and I will demand that Jerry take time out of his week on a specific day at a specific time to sit down with myself and my staff so we can present him the things that he needs to directly approve or disprove, or at the very least, listen to your voices, your opinions, and your feedback, because based on the blood, sweat, and tears you guys give to the city, that is the least amount of respect that you are owed. There are many that come to mind, but I have a lot of close friends out there that would probably be very upset or call me out if I didn't say puppy dog.
I thought you were gonna say bat.
Okay, all right, I'm going back.
Okay.
Fat boy.
I'm waiting for the hard question. So I'm gonna come up with the new position, the governor's wit, where we have a person dress up like Jerry Callow, and the people can come and yell at them and kick them in the shin to get their frustration out. And then when Jerry finally come around, I'm gonna convince him that the people's ideas are just his ideas, and that everybody gonna love him for his really good idea that he totally come up with on his own, not because I Chris Angel mind freak him. My spirit animal gonna be the chameleon because I adapt to my surrounding, but specifically the one from the 1980s Ninja Turtles who in the trench coat.
Okay. Good answer. Good answer. All right. Thank you, Mr. Pockets.
I'll say this for Mr. Callow. It's probably a good thing if he is absent should I be elected mayor. Myself and my wife, we have a terrible tendency with whenever we run into that guy, he usually gets kidnapped like 5 minutes later. It's a weird coincidence. It just keeps happening. But as far as handling things while he's absent, honestly, you just gotta keep communication going. Let people know if situations are deadlocked by the absence of the governor or not, the governor's office, and basically just keep things moving as best you can. Find solutions, not compromises.
And then what is your spirit animal?
It's not. I got 2 answers for you. One is an animal, one it isn't. So I feel like my spirit thing is like a paper bag being blown through the wind.
Okay.
Probably like a dog.
All right.
Like one of
What
those
kind of
old
dog?
English sheep dogs. You know, like the big fluffy guys.
All right. Thank you. I've got 2 more rounds of questions for myself, and then we'll open it up to the floor. Alfie, please approach the microphone.
All right, and then we'll
Alfie,
talk about. Anyway.
if you win mayor, how do you plan to build your mayoral cabinet?
So my cabinet, so one of the things that I've picked up along the way, working in two different terms, I've worked under Martin's term and I've worked under T's term, is that I know exactly what it takes to pick up things that have worked before, whether it be in Sean's, Martin's, or T's, and what works, and go from there. So my next cabinet will have people from those cabinets as well. I have 3 fantastic deputy mayors that I'm bringing along with me so far, with room to grow and introduce new blood as well. So we have Kiki Pendragon, Joey Delvecchio, and Adam Pierce coming back as deputy mayors, as well as a handful of business council members coming back, as well as new members. I'm happy to announce that Madison Thompson Ricky is joining in as my business council, a new business council member coming soon, if I'm elected. So essentially, I just want to bring in new blood and build on the things that have been done before. I don't want it to be a group of friends. That's something that Franklin mentioned before. It's not going to be a group of friends. It's going to be a group of people who have the experience to know what it takes to get things done. If it's a bunch of friends that are working together, then everyone's just going to say yes to each other. But if it's people who know the job and know what it takes, then we can actually get things done.
All right. And then the more lighthearted question. Which other candidate would you vote for?
That's a good one. I would vote for Run Your Pockets, because I've liked the answers that he's been giving so far. They've been just as good as mine, I think.
Speaking of people with experience in the mayor's office, in the last 2 or 3 terms, we have essentially had the majority body of same people who have been in this office. While they might be familiar and have that experience, we are also experiencing the same issues, the same problems of communication, people feeling unheard, unacknowledged, unappreciated. We need fresh blood. We need new faces. We need to give opportunity to people who are passionate and driven and hopeful, not people who have been burnt out or don't seem to be able to find the solution despite how long they spend in that office. So the way that we want to structure it is to have a deputy mayor for each of the 4 departments who would oversee a team of management that would help a staff that would be able to process things, treat it like an actual department, like the DMV, for instance. Why is it that the mayor's office is not run like a government body? This is to show how unappreciated your voice is and how we have not been taking the one opportunity to be heard as a city seriously. Already elected Kaj Tan, who is a classically trained expert in economics, to head up to our treasury department. I'm going to pause for the sirens.
Dallas PD endorses out Franklin DuPont.
Hey-Ka. Sorry, Franklin. Go ahead and continue.
Good, you're good. Kaj Tan is a classically trained expert in economics. We are going to turn the Treasury Department into an actual department, not a singular person with access to the budget who is not able to do anything more than know the impending debt that we face every single month. We are going to turn the communications department into an actual department, a government body that takes your voice seriously and gives you a process going forward when you need to be heard, when you need a meeting, and when you need face-to-face. A citizen in this city should feel, wow, I'm lucky enough to have run into the mayor, gotten my idea out, and be told, yeah, my people will get back to you. You should have time carved out of their schedule to talk about your needs, your opinion, your perspective, and they should be taking the time to write out a roadmap so that you know when these things can get done and if they can get done.
And then, which other candidate would you vote for?
Run Your Pockets for mayor.
And then Mr. Run Your Pockets. You've gotten 2 of the other candidates' votes so far, Mr. Pockets. Come on to the mic.
This one actually a little tough. You know, we turning up the heat a little bit here, Bryce. I appreciate it.
I got you. Bringing up that Scoville meter.
Yeah, you know, we got like a 6, you know, which is, you know, pretty good. So when I win the mayor, I'm going to assemble the cabinet, 50% experience, 50% totally fresh. I want to get the people who are ready to jump in from the day one, and also the people who wouldn't normally get the opportunity in the past. I have no specific loyalty to any single group or community in the state. My loyalty is going to be to the people in totality. Everybody going to have a seat at the table and the opportunity to step into a bigger role in steering the ship. The only requirement for me is that the people who putting in the work need to be able to say at the end of the day they enjoyed it, regardless of how thankless the job's going to be most days. You know, I don't have a lot of political experience, but I do have a lot of experience making the people around me smile and feel, you know, that their voice heard and appreciated. Even when I make people pay the fine, you know, they laugh afterward because it's usually a funny experience. Like I dressed up like the Final Fantasy or a strippergram, you know, stuff like that. So I find ways to make, you know, bad news into good news. And I want to, you know, share that philosophy with the people around me.
Thank you. Josephette, you're up next.
I didn't.
Actually, I'm sorry. Vote for. What other candidate would you vote for?
So this one gonna be spicy. My first answer, Franklin, because he run me over with his Sugoi a lot in the past, and it'd be funny to watch him fall apart. My real answer is Alfie, because I think he'd do a really good job.
Right. Thank you.
I will say that as this moment stands right now, I have no one planned for my cabinet at all. Do plan to do as soon as I am in office, so the case is start taking applications, holding interviews with people, try and get people hired on and figure out what's a good spot for them as quick as I can. Because here's the thing, right? A small business owner, the most important things you can do is finding yourself good managers. And I will say it still, I've got a very fine selection of managers, from Stacey Ricky and Wolf Haley and Sam Miller. Fantastic work managing the place. And leaves me to deal with most of the paperwork and making sure the bills and stuff get paid. Jesse Gallagher.
All right, thank you. This is going to be my last set of 2 questions. Afterwards, the floor will be open to the people here, and they can line up. In fact, if you guys want to start lining up after this set of questions, you can start asking your questions to either your specific candidate or to all of the candidates. Starting with Alfie. Alfie, how are you going to support small businesses, especially ones that are newer, so that they can be sustainable and have success within the current economy?
So anyone who knows me knows also that I run a small business myself. I run Bloom and Harvest. That's my passion project. I grow and I sell flowers to everyone in this state. And I've been doing it for over a year. Before, I was an owner of a small farm called Pepperdale Farms. Pepperdale's my old last name before I married. I know exactly what it takes to run a business. I know the issues that affect us. I know that sometimes we get a lot of customers and sometimes we don't get a lot of customers. Right now we're in one of those phases where we don't get a lot of customers. As your mayor, and coming with a cabinet full of people and introducing new people who also run businesses, we are well equipped to take care of whatever is affecting you. In terms of, for an example, would be the Golden Sun Dispensary. I have personally worked with Holly Velez, and I've helped her grow and be a sounding board for ideas that can help grow her business and make it sustainable and keep it running into the future. I've done that. That's one example. I've done that countless times across this state. My door and that of the people who work for me in the office is always open to hear your concerns, to be your sounding board for what you want to do to grow your business and keep it sustainable into the future.
And then my last silly question, tell me a quick poem about why you think you deserve to be mayor.
Say it again.
Tell me a quick poem about why you think you deserve to be mayor. It could rhyme, it could not rhyme, it could Makes sense, not make sense, whatever. Just, tell me a quick poem.
I have no idea how to write or say a poem. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. But if you vote for me, this hyper bussy will always throw it back on you.
Thank you so much.
Whether or not these are new businesses, old businesses, businesses that have not been operating for a minute, I think that we have a tendency to essentially treat businesses in this city like baby birds, and that once we feel they are ready to be approved, we shove them out of the nest, and then good luck not being eaten by the neighbor's dog. Right now, we need to get businesses involved in each and every department. Now, you might be wondering what the purpose of that would be, but I can explain it pretty simply. Businesses need to sit down with the Treasury Department. The Treasury Department needs to be business oriented, and they need to go over their revenue and do ideas with them. Hey, where do we think you can improve? How do we think we can improve you? Where are your expenses going? What better ways could you make a profit? This would be a thing that businesses would opt into. But the same with the business council. Hey, where are you at along this roadmap? Has it been a month? Has it been 3 months? Has it been 6? Let's check in with each other and see what you need and how you are doing. It's parks and recreation. You should be getting together with businesses and planning events and making sure that they can be included so people can have an opportunity to interact with business, see what they have to offer, and possibly create new customers and income streams. Most importantly, the communications department. How many changes have we gone through with businesses? How many changes have we gone through with the Pierce Plan? Just today, there were changes with the Pierce Plan. How many businesses were spoken to? How many soapbox meetings were happening involving this? How many conferences did we have? How many town halls did we give people an opportunity to, the people who are affected by these things, to come speak and give their perspective on these things? The answer is none. If you are affected, whether you're a citizen or whether you're a business, you should be sitting at the table and getting a chance to speak. By involving you every step of the way and keeping up with you, helping your business grow and succeed, have a more profitable city, we can have a more interested city, more interactions in our city. We can help new businesses grow and old businesses sustain. As a lawyer, and I wanted to die. Hey, my clients and the cops, they made me cry. But I persevered, and I showed them my rear. Here I am to take you sky high.
You're here. All right, thank you.
Great question, Bryce. So, I want to do the cool community event from time to time to help bring the smaller businesses together and give the spotlight. Periodic job fair where people can come and interview at the booth to help with the places that struggle with the hiring and the fun little pop-up market and carnival where people can go and have the visibility. Mayoral bounty to motivate businesses to compete in a fun way, like who can make the best chicken wings. Also, free business consulting from the business council for the existing business who on the verge of, collapsing. We're gonna do it, real fun style, like the bar rescue or the undercover boss. Easiest question. Roses are red, violets are blue. The state needs some love. Run you the candidate for you.
I like it. Thank you, Mr. Pockets. Thank you. And last but not least, for my questions, Jehoshaphat.
I've already got aims on this plan from because one of my mayoral promises this campaign is to help revitalize the South Side and with helping incentivize more businesses in the South Side, right? Whether that be through whatever grants we can do, we can budget. Whatever allowances we can give out, like waiving business licenses and stuff like that for initial startup times. I am also very much a big guy for tourism, right? Here's the thing. Whoever's mayor at the end of this season, they're gonna probably be mayor for what? All the way into the end of October? Halloween? Halloween is a fucking major tourism time here in Los Angeles. We gotta make sure our businesses are ready for that. I am also constantly coming up with really good ideas for stuff. Like I was speaking with one of those printing companies about trying to get with like the other like the not tow companies, but like the business private parking places, right? And about printing out like little private parking passes and stuff like that. And there's a lot of nice little things we can do. Like, try and spread the love, you know. This mayor was Mr. T. Now I'm your mayor to be. Winning this election ain't gonna be easy. One thing's for sure, I know a good tea. That's all I got.
Yeah! Woo!
Incredible, incredible. All right. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, candidates, for answering all the questions. Now we're going to open it up to the floor. I ask you guys to keep your questions kind of quick so we can get through everybody that we have. Candidates are here for about like another hour 15. So do with that as you will. Starting with the first one. Go ahead.
Hello. Is it on? Is it loud? Can you hear
It's
me?
loud. I can hear you.
I can't quite hear it.
Yippee. Okay. Hello.
Maybe we should,
I'm fine. Who the fuck? I'm trying to talk. Hello. I'm Fauna Mori. I work for Events and Reg. I was just wondering what your plans are, for like, the department I am in, because it is the Mayoral Events and Reg, and also. What do you think we do right now? I want to know what you think Events and Rec does, because it's interesting to hear like Franklin say that like things we know work with businesses, things I know happening when they are happening. Yeah, I put the microphone down now.
That one for me? You want me? For all of us.
Was
All
it
of
directed to
you.
everyone?
Yeah, everyone answered the question. Why would you ask a question if it's no for everyone?
We'll have specific questions for specific candidates.
Oh.
Go ahead first, since I was mentioned. From speaking to different members of Parks and Rec, and I have been reaching out to members of different departments, like Riley Kai. I had a meeting with her. I've been talking to Sylvie about what's been going on over there. When it comes to Events and Rec, as I understand it, application is submitted. They provide the information you need. You have a meeting to discuss what other further things you need, possibly going to the location to get pictures and ideas from people. And then that is pushed to essentially a group chat where they can better organize and plan for it. The moment when it comes to my answer, it was more of like, we need to continue to do this. We need to keep doing this, but we need to make it more streamlined. So my idea for departments like Parks and Rec and for businesses is essentially to run them like a department, like a government body. So you would have staff at the bottom level whose job would be to process the applications, either for Parks and Rec, either for business, either for scheduling meetings in the communications department, but focusing on Parks and Rec. They would process it, make sure all the information is correct, make sure everything that needs to be provided has been provided, and their job would be to reach out to the applicant and either say, hey, this is incorrect, you need to resubmit it, we'll get back to you once you have, or say, this is correct, we need your schedule, we want to set aside a meeting with our managers. That staff member with the manager would meet with the applicant to better discuss these things, get pictures, get better ideas, so everybody is, on the same page and they get what they asked for. We would push it up to the deputy mayor of that department, whose job it would be to take it to that group in order to plan for the event. It would be the same with business proposals. The only additional thing we would be adding that we do not currently do is creating a mayoral section with the MDW, which is a beautiful piece of programming, so that if it is a business proposal, an events application, a recreational need, a docket is made so anybody who is involved in that process at any time of day could go look, see what is required, see where they are at down that roadmap, whether it's meetings or speaking to certain people or when they are needed, and nobody is left in the dark about anything. I understand you guys probably do a great job keeping up with people and calling everybody, but this is just an easier way to ease the burden and keep people involved.
Jumping off a little bit on that, I want to say that we already do many of those things. We have group chats. We do use the MDW. One of the main differences is that I want to empower events and rec, and I want to assign a deputy mayor directly responsible for them that can help empower them to also go out into the community like they already do, go and talk to businesses like they already do, and help make more events that everyone would love to attend. Fauna herself has been working on one for a long time, and so what I would do is that I would provide more support to that, a direct budgeted item that has all the support that it needs to get off the ground. I can also divert more people from the mayor's office to help empower Fauna's efforts and essentially add more people to the group. That way it's not her having to do everything by herself. So a lot of these things already exist, they just need more support in general. And I already have the tools that are ready to help support events and rec into the future.
You know, Alfie really hit the nail on the head with this one. We got plenty of system already in place, and I think they're working. I think the difference that I would bring is having a little bit more visibility on the event, so to increase the adoption by the average citizen, and also having like one big thing, every month or every 2 months that like really everybody can look forward to and plan around. Like a big like softball tournament for all the food places where all the employees they go, and we have like a baseball episode, or we do like the carnival, but it like one half of the carnival is there are no clowns, and the other half there are clowns, because some people don't like clowns, but people do like cotton candy. And if people eating a lot of cotton candy for free, then they got to go to the hospital, and they got to go talk to the dentist because they're going to get the cavity, and that's going to increase the engagement at the hospital for the cavities as well, because I don't think that anybody going and talking to the dentist, and you got to run you to the dentist, because cavities are not good. You don't want to lose your teeth. But yeah, in general, I think we got an existing framework, and we got plenty of smart people that already really passionate. I just want to give those people the opportunity to really centralize the efforts, and also bring forth the new fresh idea.
Well, I'm actually going to answer the question. To be honest, I don't know what the events department does. Right, I mean, obviously on paper I do, right? Like the bare bones definition of what an events department is. But here's the thing. I don't think the events department gets enough love, is the thing, right? I mean, hands up in the audience if you have known of an event that's benefited from the event department. I'm seeing like 3 hands. Yeah, that pretty much outlines my point. Obviously, this is all about, I'm a big proponent for supporting businesses and all that, but we also need to make sure that where they are needed and where they are doing good hard work, they get a proper representation as well, like with the events department.
So my question is, one of the biggest problems, and this is for everybody, one of the biggest problems I see in our city is some of our leadership has little time to be able to do their job effectively. How much time do you feel you will actually be able to devote to the city in the course of a week?
Okay, I'll go first. So I already commit a solid amount of time to the city. It's great to have a mayor that's around all the time and help you. However, it's not very healthy for the mayor themselves, and it also bottlenecks a whole bunch of the ideas and a whole bunch of things to do at the mayor themselves. So again, it's this one of my main themes is to empower the people within the office to go to meetings that the mayor can attend, to say yes or no to things that the mayor can't attend or go and see forth. To empower the business council to go and just find people who want to open up a business, keep them updated on the status of their proposals, because we do get a lot of proposals, and sometimes it takes a lot of time for us to go and see through them all. Sometimes we have to wait for additional people to go out and say yes or no. So by having a mayor's office that's empowered, having a team that's empowered, the mayor doesn't have to be around all the time. It's not a healthy thing for a mayor to be around all of the time, because it just takes up all of the resources when it can be spread evenly across the entire office. I've been around all the time, and I will continue to be around all the time, but I also want to empower the people around me to take the initiative and to be trusted to do the things that need to get done.
So me and Alfie agree on this point. Delegation, which is one of the 3 platforms we're running on this time around, is key. It doesn't matter who you are, it matters who you surround yourself with, and no one person can take on the burden of an entire office. It's not only not healthy, it's selfish. I do, however, disagree with the sentiment that having the mayor around too much is a bad thing or would choke up the system. I have been the leading defense attorney in this city for 1.5 years. I spend quite literally every single day, 7 days a week, at least 10 to 12 hours a day minimum around for people, going through cases. At one point, I had like 27 on the docket. Actively keeping busy and grinding through that mindset, y'all. I will continue to dedicate that to the mayor's office and to our people, and making sure I am there for the people who we have delegated. I have spent an insane amount of time around. I think it might sound unreasonable to some, but we need to acknowledge the fact that a position as important as a mayor needs to be treated like a full-time job. While that cannot be expected of everyone, the person who we decide to put in that position needs to be available to treat it as so.
To be honest and transparent here, I'm not going to be around 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. That crazy times. I'm going to use the time that I do have to focus on the thing that I'm good at, while empowering the people around me to do the thing that they need. I'm going to make sure that every conversation I have, every meeting I attend with a citizen is one that I remember, so that I don't forget when I make a promise like, hey, I'm going to enter this expungement so you can run for mayor, and then not do that so that that person can't run for mayor, and then they have to wait like 8 months, because that crazy times, and it seems a little corrupt, you know, just in hindsight. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like everyone's been saying, and I think it's a commonality, right? You got to have a good team around you, you know, and when you're around, you gotta keep in mind that you gotta delegate and you gotta prioritize. So there are always gonna be 1, 2, maybe 3 really big thing that like the mayor need to deal with, and they're gonna be like 100 little thing that, you know, as long as the people are transparent, they got the voice, right? They can say like, hey, this is a thing, you know, you get the right people in the right place. They motivated, they care, you know. I don't need to be here every single time. Sometimes I gotta go back to the Prince Edward Island and deal with the mussels, you know. And then, you know, maybe we can get the mussels here. Thank you.
Okay, I have one quick question. What was the name of the person who asked that last question? If they can just quickly
That's
say it.
Phelan. That's Phelan DuPont, prosecutor.
Okay, my bad. I don't think I've ran into the prosecutors too much recently. No worries. Well, I have two major things to say. Obviously, you know, I think it's fair to say that most of the candidates here were all in the same ballpark of delegation is good and all that, right? But here's the thing. there's a word, if there's a sentence that everyone hates to hear, it is probably never around. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I am willing to put in the time. Listen. A few months back, I put in manually 950 impound tow logs. Okay, I do have dedication to this type of thing. But, secondly, most important of all, in the words of a very famous mystic, it's not a real job, Phelan.
Hello. Hi. You know, a lot of people in the city are really concerned about the rising amounts of crime that are going on around them. The amount of houses that are being broken into while people are sleeping at nights. The amount of businesses that are losing money daily because of crime. What is the plan to implement a policy and procedure for people to obtain a Class 2 firearm so they can better protect their businesses, their houses, their places of property effectively and efficiently? I ask this because, if the person inside the house were thought to maybe have a Class 2, maybe there would be a second thought to going into said house and offer a better way of ensuring our society as a whole can become a safer place and a means to grow and foster a community and family rather than fear and desperation.
You want to take? Do I go again?
Sure, nah, I could go. I'm going to be straight up and honest. As it stands, there is currently not a plan to implement Class 2s. Should we approach a horizon or a future in which citizens are able to apply for their Class 2 weapons, I guarantee you, as a worker in the DMV, it's not going to be as simple as answering some funny questions and going to the back of the line. It's more than likely, and this is coming from a lawyer perspective, going to end up being a hearing, going through your background history, seeing what kind of stuff you are up to when it comes to your priors, asking you hard-hitting questions, make sure that the people that we do end up entrusting with those Class 2s are not abusing that trust and taking advantage of it. It'll be strict. That is what I could say. Otherwise, I would be speaking out of turn. But thank you for the question.
For this one, I very much agree with Franklin. There is currently no plan on my end for Class 2s. Wouldn't even know where to get one if that was a thing. That will be a much more of a cross that bridge when you get there, but it's not going to be an easy path to getting a legal Class 2 for that. So that's what I got for that.
All right, so first point, crime in particular, right? Because I think there's a two-part question. Crime is rising, and I think that people need to have a viable option to be able to live and survive without the need to resort to the nefarious mean. I think that most people, they got good in them, but they, find themselves struggling, and they have to resort to crime, like I did. I'm speaking as the only candidate up here to have been convicted of a violent felony, to my knowledge, and also the only person to have handled some very heavy firearm. I have the experience of having to pull the hot gun out of the friolator at the Cluckenbell, to know, that at times you got to resort to, some means to defend yourself and defend the business. And, it's important to have that opportunity. And currently in the state, with the judicial system, you're not allowed to self-defend your property or your person. I learned that lesson myself when somebody chop off my friend's arm and then do a tinkle on it and then come to finish the job at the hospital, and then I lose my weapon license and I had to wait 3 months to get an expungement. So I don't think the solution is for people to have Class 2s, because then they're going to shoot somebody and then the cop going to be like, oh, no more, this is gone. First time, no violent crime history, nothing, nope. Oh, you were defending yourself, goodbye. And then you got to wait like 4 months. So I think the solution isn't, heavier firearms for the citizens. How do we root out the crime? Answer.
Same with what most of the other candidates. I will admit I do not have any plans for this at the time being. I will say, knowing from my limited experience in just trying to get a commercial driver's license B from the DMV at the moment, that it's gonna probably be A, pricey, B, very, very stringent. I'm talking like background checks, stuff like that. And it's not gonna be a simple do.
All right, next.
Hi. So communication is very much every campaign ever, every candidate ever has always said, I'm going to improve communication. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And honestly, I think communication is nearly impossible to truly improve to perfection. So I would like to hear from everyone, even Alfie, something that maybe you haven't talked about yet, or maybe someone hasn't asked you about yet that you've really been wanting to talk about from your platform, something that has nothing to do with communication that you would like to bring to the office.
So one thing I haven't mentioned regarding communication, and something that hasn't been introduced before, is that honestly I think the DOJ has done that works really well, is office hours. So I want to introduce office hours where I'll be rotating across the state. You'll know where I am because I'll put it in the calendar app. I'll announce it on Twinsta, and I'll let you guys know where I'm at. You can find me, you can come by, you can talk to me. I'll be here in Legion, I'll be at the DMV, I'll be at City Hall, Paleto, Harmony, Sandy, Grapeseed, you name it. It's a time to know that you can come by, you can talk to me. I'll do the same thing I'll ask the same of each of my deputy mayors, business council members, city admins, and admin assistants. This is where you can find us. I know you can easily see us on the City Hall app when we're around, but it's a dedicated time where you can come by and you can find me and you can let me know what's going on.
So while I agree with Alfie that open office hours should probably be a default in the norm, if I'm not mistaken, and please clarify if I'm wrong here, saying that essentially we know communication is an issue and I want to hear about something that does not have to do with that, something else that is important to the platform. So if I'm interpreting,
yes,
okay,
because,
perfect.
Because everyone always talks about communication. It's all anyone ever talks about. So I want to hear something that's not.
Perfect. I was a little confused, but let me speak on this. The high majority, and like 9 in 10 communities that I have spoken to around the city, from Sandy, Paleto, Grapeseed, to the south side, to the city center, have spoken about how they are living paycheck to paycheck right now. How they are struggling after the expenses of gas, repairs, and food to make any profit, and as a result, see a future in which they can make a life here, in which they can own property here, in which they can invest in a business here. This ties into Runya and trying to find solutions to dissuade people from committing crimes, and that is to incentivize people to seek legal work. We need pay raises across the board. When the cost of living has doubled and almost tripled for every single service, and people are being paid the same, they're going to run into this issue. Now, it's not enough to say people need pay raises, right? Where is that going to go except the deficit? Well, we currently have a plan that I have been discussing with Kaj and the Treasury Department that we intend to implement, in which, and hear me out, guys, I know we hate this word, property taxes. Now, people across this city who own properties, especially those who have been owning multiple properties, sometimes entire neighborhoods, who would be fair to call tenants or landlords, be taxed accordingly. Obviously, we don't want to make people insolvent for owning homes, but we absolutely keep on top of this so that these communities don't end up being owned by the same 1 or 2 people. By using those property taxes to directly fund our wages for our citizens, that is money going back in your pocket and for no other purpose. So I would like to see people not have to struggle, not be incentivized to rob ATMs. When Quimbly Hayabusa is going on Twinsta talking about needing to rob ATMs because it's a misdemeanor and her workers need more money, you know you have a problem that needs a solution. And currently, we have a solution that we think works. The question.
I'm gonna pop in real quick and apologize because I did misunderstand that question. So, essentially, the third thing that I haven't mentioned from my platform is stability. So what I want to do is I want to have a team that helps stabilize the government and helps us all be able to save money and work towards achieving our goals, whether it's buying a new car, buying a new bike, buying a new house, just being able to take trips and do things around the city that we'd like to do. One of the ways that we're working on this right now is by exporting goods off onto the mainland. We've been trialing it on a smaller level using lumber and within the farming community and revitalizing the farming industry. One way is continuing to expand this throughout different sectors. So whether it's hunting, I've talked to some hunters around the state. I've talked to people from Simple Living, fishing, beekeeping, even goods that we make at our own businesses across the state. If we can export that off into the mainland, that's money that people can make directly, because the state will buy these exports that you as people generate at a premium and will sell them off to the mainland at a premium. So that's money going directly into your pockets. That way you can continue to save money and not lose money. And that's also money that's coming into the state budget because that'll skyrocket up as well. With that, we can also increase the money that's made for government workers, and that money will then trickle throughout the rest of the state and incentivize people to continue to shop more around the state. So, yeah.
So this question, a really good one, because at the end of the day, communication is key. So it kind of a part of everything to an extent. But I want to highlight a core part of my platform that I came up with when I decided I was doing the Kingpin bit, which is no more vigilantes. And what that means is there are a lot of people that wearing a badge running around doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing. And at the end of the day, there's no one keeping them in check. I'm not saying that all police is corrupt or doing bad stuff. It's a very small percentage. But those small percentage are the ones that people be seeing and doing stuff. And I would like it if we could metaphorically do, things to people that acting out of turn. What I not metaphorically did to Rob Miss, which is hitting him in the head with a hammer and then driving away at 10 miles per hour 9 months ago. I think that, at the end of the day, if the only justice is street justice, people are going to keep doing crime. Going back to my earlier point, people need to have opportunities to get restitution and see the people getting reprimanded in a way that, justified. If people think that the only way that they can, make up for the injustice is by doing more injustice, we're never going to solve the problem. So, like I said, no more vigilante, the cop that acting out of turn, going down the checklist, being like, oh, well, I got to transfer some intent up in here because I decided that I can, and I'm going to ruin this person's life. I don't think that anyone's life should be ruined the way that mine was. I'm not pressed about it. I go through the process. I do it the right way. I reformed. I get the expungement. But, throughout that process, I thought about shooting Levi Tarantino in the head. I didn't do it, but it would have been really easy, really quick, and would have probably solved the problem. But I'm doing it the right way. And I want people to do what I did. I want people to make the system work, and that at the end of the day, we're not just dealing with vigilantes with badge. We're dealing with, upstanding citizens who part of the state and they care, because most of the cops are. That's my point.
First of all, I just want to give a big hand to the mayor's office for some fantastic miscommunication again. And those things I haven't had a chance to talk about yet. I have mentioned briefly about Southside revitalization. I will say that one of my Large things I want to try and get going down there is. Fun fact: did you know out of all the recent car dealerships and mechanic shops and all that have relocated or opened up in the last month or so, not a single one is in the South Side? I personally think that's a crying shame, and shining more light on the South Side, a large part of my election campaign, but it's also not the only part, because I'm not going to plan to just ignore everyone else, you know?
Guys, this is Cole Valentine from Mirror Park here. I got a few quick questions about businesses. It's within these last few months, I've seen the mayor actually close down businesses, which in my opinion has been a good thing. I want to ask you, what is to prevent from one of you coming into office and approving businesses that only support your platform? Just such in key areas that already have heavy business traffic. Good example would be me seeing the other night 3 food businesses in Southside that were all open within a block of each other. What is your plan on spreading out businesses and to make sure that the economy benefits from it?
Well, at the end of the day, I think that competition breeds excellence. That's the core of capitalism. And, you know, I have seen personally a lot of scenarios where 2 businesses, you know, are open within the same, you know, area, and one of them cannibalized the other one. A good example, my good friend who was blind, Miss Iris, worked really hard on her Blind Eye Inc. And gets smoked and, you know, threatened and kicked out of the state, you know, the area. By another, you know, tattoo shop that within a block. I think that you got to spread out the businesses, and people need to be kind of cognizant of, you know, what exists. Also, businesses need to be active. Recently, a lot of businesses that were quote unquote inactive got shut down, which is part of your question. I think that activity, not a simple checklist, right? I think that, you know, there needs to be some level of discussion around, okay, so, you know, we got like 3 or 4 businesses within, you know, 2 or 3 blocks. They all serving food. You know, our tacos and, you know, pulled pork sandwiches different. I mean, is a taco a sandwich? Is a hot dog a sandwich? You know, at the end of the day, these are not decisions that should come down to a single person. It really needs to be something that, you know, the state decide. So one thing that I want to do is we got a lot of smart people who want to do the business, right? I am someone who has submitted a business proposal like 3 or 4 times, and everyone that I talked to in the business council said they loved it. It made them laugh. It's such a good idea, but they have to decline it. I'm not gonna say no, but I'm gonna say yes and, because I think that competition is a good thing. Now, at the end of the day, if people are gonna, you know, fail because they get pushed out by, you know, the big fish, I gotta find ways to support that person. I realize that my answer is probably kind of counterintuitive to the spirit of the question, but I think that, you know, opportunity is something that most people don't get nowadays in this state, and I think that more opportunity for more people probably a good thing, because there are a lot of people that don't get it, and they deserve it.
So your question had a lot of factors, so it might take me a second to hit every note on the head, so bear with me, but well, I agree that businesses, especially businesses that have been given like certain privileges or the ability to do certain things that end up becoming inactive, should be considered to be shut down, but the amount of people who own these businesses in which effectively the only thing that is happening is that somebody wakes up every 2 months to renew that license. Employees of that business reach out to me and say, hey, nobody talked to us. Nobody offered us a transfer. Nobody offered us like, hey, maybe here's a solution to get your business back up and running and get that community a little bit more lively. It is basically just a cold call saying that they've been shut down. So again, it comes down to like, I don't disagree with bringing inactive businesses back to the table. That discussion needs to be had. But I think the main focus of your question was how do we prevent people from getting favoritism over others, if I'm not mistaken? By creating, rather than a business council, a business department in which there is a streamlined process, a step-by-step, a blueprint for people to follow from staff to manager to department leader, the deputy mayor of that department, you eliminate the ability for others to be able to skip that line. I know it has been an issue that has been pointed out by many that certain businesses that put in a proposal sometimes get accepted right away while other businesses have been waiting for months and months and months. We know that that happens. We need to prevent that from happening. I understand there may be certain businesses that need to be prioritized. However, other than that, people should be given a fair shake and should be treated equally. By making more clarity and transparency in that department, by turning it into an actual department and not a council, you will be able to get that transparency, go on the MDW, see what business applications have been, see when they went up, see where they are at, to ensure that nobody is getting any favoritism.
So we do our best to limit favoritism occurring within the business council, and I'll come out and say that I do not think that making sub-departments within the mayor's office will be the best way to go, because that'll just create more backlog and more bureaucracy. We have actively been reducing the number of businesses across the state, and yeah, we went through a period of growth where we were approving a lot of businesses, and in hindsight, a lot of them should not have opened so close to each other. What we continue to do is that we're continuing to look at inactivity. One thing that Franklin mentioned is people waking up and coming around just to renew their business license. I would like to tackle that and reduce that by actually looking at how are they bringing in money, how often do we see them active, and go about it like that. It's a pretty big multi-part issue that is pretty sensitive, and we're trying to look at it to where everyone is communicated to effectively and efficiently. All of the businesses that have shut down, I promise you and I guarantee you, we have reached out to each business owner for months in advance. Unfortunately, being a part of being a business owner is that you have to take ownership, and a lot of the things fall on your plate and not on the plate of your employees. So I guess in short, we're continuing to figure out how to combat favoritism, as well as reduce the amount of businesses that are inactive. That way we can make room for new businesses as well.
So just refresh my memory, right? Your questions were basically twofold, right? One was to how we're not going to make sure we have businesses that just like support each other and not support each other, but support specifically the candidates type of thing or their friends. And the other question was about competing businesses, right? All right. Hey, so I know some people might think that with my position of owner of the Steele family impound and towing, I might end with my campaign already leaning towards helping support the South Side. I will say that, in general, I have tried my best to be extremely impartial. Example, right? I'm a lawyer, right? I tell people straight up how it is when I'm doing defenses and stuff, like counsel and all that. I don't do bad teas. If anyone ever comes to me and they prove to me that, hey, this is a bad tea, I listen. I don't take sides. I don't take sides when it comes to that type of thing. I don't know. My point is on that point is that I feel very strongly about people in positions such as basically getting away with a lot of nepotism type of stuff like that, right? So that's not gonna happen. I'll give you my word. And I'm gonna say, as far as like competing businesses go and stuff like that, It can be a little iffy with multiple businesses next to each other. Like, for example, one thing, like another point, and not just like the food place, it's just like Turbomax and Poplar Street Performance are quite close to each other, both being mechanic shops and stuff like that. There's a few places like that I can think of, right? Competition does breed a lot of impetus, right? It gets people moving. It gets people realizing, hey, we need to try and figure out ways to not just coast because we're the only business in like Sandy or something, right? I mean, hey, times do you see more than one food truck out here in the Legion Square car park? It's not that often. And honestly, I think we should see more.
Everybody, I got a question here for everybody. So, I know some of you have previously spoken on refusing to work with certain people and heads of government. How would you plan on working with them if you already have this mindset? And if someone else went in the mayor's office out instead of yourself, would you hope that they use people and policy that you yourself wanted to see under your term in theirs?
To keep it quick and simple, yes. If we both agree that our policies are good, like will benefit the city as a whole, the state as a whole, then hell fucking yeah. Pardon my English. Just because at the end of the day one of us has to fucking walk away with the mayorship, right? The mayoral key, so to speak. We're all running for the same reason, I hope. Want to see the state flourish. I think that was the gist of your question, right?
It was another part, but...
What's the other part before I go?
How do you plan on working with people that you may have previously decided to not work with?
I've actually got a perfect example for this. So, about a year ago, I started towing, doing, working for Steel back when I was running around by Pat Williams. I did some towing around the back of DMV, and I got accosted by two folks. One of them goes by the name of Scott Grossman. That guy is now probably one of my best employees over at Steel. I am easily able to like bury the hatchet and then work with people that I may have dislike with.
I'm just gonna respond to the spirit of the question and keep it brief to make it, nice and easy, so that Franklin has 17 minutes to answer the question. I don't care about my personal relationship with anybody. If they got a good idea for the state, then they have a voice, right? They should be doing what they want to do. I want to help them do that. Somebody shoot me in the head like 6 months ago. Who cares? Somebody, a criminal, somebody a cop, somebody, a doctor, whatever you want to say, right? If they just a little kitty cat that go no, you know what? They still got the opportunity. I gotta listen to them. I got no specific bias in any specific direction. I just want people to be happy. That's all I'm looking for. And I just want people to say at the end of the day that, they like it here and they want to be here tomorrow.
I'm going to further echo Runya's answer. You need to be willing to work with anybody, and you need to be able to hear them out at the very least. When he talks about getting a shot in the head, he was notoriously shot in the face in the middle of Polito Town Hall by an individual who I still continue to do law work with after a time had passed. Some people might think that is soft or that you're rolling over, but when you're in a position like, let's say just defense attorney, but even higher up mayor, people don't have a lot of options. They come to you because they need help, and they deserve that representation, whether or not you are their attorney or whether or not you are their mayor. If something comes across your desk, even if it is with somebody you may have a personal issue with, you need to be able to look at that with fresh eyes in an unbiased way to make sure everybody gets fair and equal treatment. Oh, I don't know who up here would say that they'd not be willing to work with anybody, but I don't think that would be the sentiment of any of these candidates, nor myself. Thank you.
Yep. I'm gonna keep it super concise and say I've already been doing that in my time in the mayor's office. I do it beyond the mayor's office. I do it as a mechanic. I do it as a dealership owner, or not dealership owner. Sorry, working at a dealership, sanitation, all that. We're doing this for the people. I'm more than happy to work with and ready to work with anyone, regardless of any history, or anything really. So yeah.
So, this question's a bit more towards Franklin. You've described the current cabinet as burnt out, which respectfully feels pretty insulting, especially given how every single one of them has put in, effort into running and pushing things forward. I don't really appreciate that effort being dismissed or reduced to a label like burnt out. On top of that, you haven't really said who you bring into your cabinet. You just said you wouldn't include any old blood, and almost singled out Alfie like he was the only one who fit that. Which isn't clearly the case, sorry. Last time during your campaign, Niles Bean, with no disrespect to him, a person who already served 2 full terms in mayor's office, was reaching out to people about potentially joining your team. So I'm just trying to understand how it lines up with your stance on avoiding old blood. Because it doesn't really match what's being said publicly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you coming at me with this and giving me an opportunity to respond to it. Point out people being burnt out. I want to make it implicitly clear to everybody here, that is not like an insult. That is just something that happens. Lawyers deal with it. It is why you often have a lot of lawyers leave the pool. Doctors deal with it. EMS deal with it. Cops deal with it. It is a natural feeling that people have. Just because you burn out, it doesn't disregard all the hard work you were doing to get there, right? Bean is not in my cabinet. Kaj Tan, who again is a classically trained expert in economics heading up the Treasury Department. I have Madison Rickey, who is going to be helping us with the business department. I also have people like Mark DeJong speaking to them about heading up either Parks and Rec or the communications department. The important thing here is getting people who are fresh and passionate, who haven't had an opportunity to stand up for the city and do what they want to help improve this place. It's about bringing new ideas. Sometimes fresh eyes are just important. When I'm dealing with something, that is why I go to other attorneys to get their take on it. Even if they have not had experience in that, it is a healthy thing. So if you felt like I undermined the work of anybody in the cabinet beforehand, that was not my intention. We do appreciate all the hard work that they put in and all the time that they've dedicated, just like each and every member of the city in their respected communities.
Hello, my name is Arthur Bennett. I come to talk to you about a serious problem that's infected this city for a long time now. And that problem is known as the Federal Investigation Bureau, or the FIB for short. I have to be honest, this is okay, Bryce, really, Bryce? Let me finish. Okay. FIB has plagued this city for a long time. Their policies are reductive. They've hurt and harmed many of the citizens across this city. And honestly, I can't name a single person besides the FIB who likes the FIB. Now, I'm curious here what your all stances are on the FIB and what you're gonna do to make sure that they have less power in this goddamn city.
On the FIB.
So, run your pockets. Tracer, gasp! I think the FIB get a lot of hate. Sometimes they do dumb stuff, but they are significantly less bad than the police department. Like, they're actually find ways to, have like a, like inclusion within the group, have the Fun Friday theme, making things, more fun, more entertaining, for themselves and for others. I think the FIB get a lot of hate. They actually don't do that much that at the end of the day have an effect. They have a lot of restriction on the power that people don't realize. I also want to specify, I'm just a contractor at the FIB as a skip tracer. I make like $40 an hour to get shot at over $100 fine, ran over with the Segoy by Franklin Starr, stuff like that. But in general, like, they're all pretty good people, they have a good heart. I think that, the IAA opening up, would be good so that there are more than one government agency doing stuff. I also think that it would be good if there was more, like, regulations and training. done for the people that are at the federal level. Because at the state level, I think that, they probably train people a little bit at least. But I noticed that some people know what they're doing and other people don't know what they're doing. So just, having more standardization and, maybe checks and balances would be good.
He's an FIB sympathizer. Boo!
The FIB has people like the Bounty Boys. You're crazy.
Boo!
Boo that man. Boo that man.
Okay, since I'm being booed, I would like to highlight the latest idea I brought to the FIB, which they're in favor of. Fine, Southside, you're included in this idea. I brought forth the idea that we should do the commercial for the people that have an insurmountable amount of fines. Instead of them getting the CAF docket, people being able to sponsor them. Like in the sad commercial where the lady talked about the puppies in the arms of the angel. And I'm already working on a commercial to help people out that, are in financial straits. And the FIB in favor of this. They want to help the people.
Boo the Bounty Boys.
And before I get started, I do kind of like that last idea. That sounds like pretty good. So it's like just helping out unfortunate individuals. But I'm sure many of you know, before Steel moved locations, we were right next door to the FIB, and say we were iffy neighbors, I'd say. Iffy neighbors. I remember coming to work one day, and there was like a whole bunch of stuff on Twitter about a Steel black site or something like that. I was really confused. As far as doing what we can to keep an eye on the FIB, I guess like Runya said, checks and balances and all that. To be honest with you, really, I can't really put a pin that the FIB's done recently, other than that's it. I got nothing else.
So I'll full on admit that even as a deputy mayor right now and as someone in the business council for the last 2 terms, I don't fully know or understand what the FIB do aside from skip tracers. So if I am elected mayor, I'll be meeting with them to try to figure out exactly what they do and really go from there. I think that Runya made a really good point, and so did Jay, that now with the IAA seeming to open up, I've seen some IAA agents roaming around. I think it'd be good to have another group to keep them in check. But really, it'd be a conversation that I'd have to have with them, and I do plan to meet with them to really understand what they do and what is going on aside from skip tracers.
So, as somebody who has taken the FIB to court on multiple occasions due to ranging from silly to severe fuck-ups, I am familiar with the fact that in many occasions they do step outside of the bounds of their duties or affect our public in an extremely negative light. The way that I will put this is, when clients ask me why I'm being so friendly with police as I'm trying to get them off of charges, I typically explain to them, like, nobody wants to do anything for you if you're an aggressive asshole. You want to work with these people, you want to understand them, you want to be able to relate to them, because otherwise at the end of the day, they're just going to tell you to fuck off. End of the day, the budgets of departments like the FIB are the direct responsibility of the mayor's office, which is why we need a treasury department that consists of more than one person who can go around to these departments, demand that we sit down at the table and have a discussion. And when there are issues, those issues are addressed due to the fact that we have the leverage. Familiar with the Bounty Boys. I have been handcuffed by the Bounty Boys and been forced to watch them have sex with a motorcycle. Nothing has been done about them. I understand that that is a problem that we need to force them to address, but like every single department and community, these people have something to offer, whether it's negative or positive, and we need to keep that in mind no matter who they are. DMV, gangs, businesses, police departments, FIB, they're all part of what makes this city what it is today.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. So this one comes all the way from the crime mayor who's locked up right now for murder. Okay, guys? So this is serious. If things get tense while your cabinet is having a discussion with the crime mayor's cabinet, will you keep it diplomatic? Will you drop a diss track? Or will you settle it once and for all on the top of Mount Chiliad during a lightning storm with interpretive dance warfare?
So, interpretive dance, fantastic. I'm gonna escalate the situation substantially because I know the crime mayor, and we're gonna have a Gundam dance battle, and we're gonna bring out the Alea Venata system, the one where you die after, and it's gonna be life or death, and we're gonna step.
I'll go with a diss track with interpretive dance. I'm a huge fan of diss tracks. I think they're needed. So I want that diss track playing while the interpretive dance is happening on the top of Mount Chiliad. I've worked with the forever #1 crime mayor, Mac McCann, and I'll keep doing so, but I want that diss track playing.
Frankie?
Shout out to the OG Mac McCann. This dude, a pillar of our community. Mac will always know that I am a simple phone call away. We talk to each other frequently, and that I am always down for either an interpretive dance battle or preferably both a diss track. As that line of communication stays open, willing and dedicated to talk to the crime mayor and his cabinet. Live the familia.
I'll go one further. I'm down for the diss track and an interpretive dance. No, I'll go one further. I fought one of the previous mayors, Martin Pierce, at the Up and Adam Company meeting, and I'll beat this mayor. Beat the crime mayor's ass.
You would beat the crime mayor's ass?
And straight out, Ward.
He just beats his meat.
Everybody give this guy a boo. Boo this man.
You know, in like a you know, fisticuffs, a boxing match.
All right, that's it for my questions. I just want to say one more thing. Happy birthday, Aurora.
Was that the dog?
Birthday.
Okay, next.
Happy birthday, Aurora.
Hi, can you all hear me okay?
Speak up a little bit.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Just want to make sure that I'm heard. My name is Laszlo Cravensworth. I've got one question. I am of firm and personal belief that all individual communities in this island matter no matter who you are or what you bring. If you do crime, you matter. If you're a civilian, you matter. If you're a government employee, you matter. You as an individual person matter, your loved ones matter, and what you bring to us matters too. Whether that's a business, you're an artist, you paint, you sing, you do hopscotch in your free time, all of it matters. What, I'm asking anyone can answer, how do you plan to balance the development of the island and the cities while still preserving the character of each individual community and neighborhood? Do you have any plans to help out these smaller communities and preserve what's important to them and their character and what they do? I understand it's a kind of a loaded question. I'm just kind of looking for, I guess, any answer you are willing to give me. Thank you.
So at the end of the day, I think that there are a significant number of communities that have developed and fostered, you know, a sense of belonging within their individual group and have shared it with the state. And I want more of that, right? I mean, I think that there are a lot of people that, you know, might have gotten squeezed out a little bit in the past, and I want to avoid that in the future. You know, we got a lot of people that have been here for a very long time, way longer than I have, and a lot of people that, you know, they're very new. I think that giving people the opportunity that are new to foster and develop their own, you know, kind of vibe is good, but also introducing people to the existing vibes and seeing if that worked with them. You know, sometimes, you know, certain areas, you know, have a certain connotation with, you know, things that they do, and that not actually what they stand for. So giving people the opportunity to kind of showcase what makes them unique and special in their own way is good. And also not shaming, because at the end of the day, what make you different is what make you special, and nobody other than you, you know, should judge. We should ever judge. You know, we all here, we all do something at the end of the day. And we here for a reason, because we love this place.
Go on to the next.
We're just coordinating it up here.
You want to go? All right, you can go.
So, everyone always has a place at the table. Unfortunately, sometimes focus kind of goes in different places at different times. I'd never want anyone to feel neglected or feel like their voice isn't heard.
There, Ralph.
Can you guys hear me now?
Perfect. Beautiful.
All right,
Continue.
cool. So basically what I was saying is everyone has a place at the table. One of the things that happens is that focus goes in different places. And so I don't want someone to feel like just because the focus is not on them at one time does not mean that they're forgotten and neglected about. One of the things that I've been working on with a lot, especially being part of the farming council also, is that for a long time the people in Grapeseed and the farmers of Grapeseed felt like they had an economy that was almost completely gone, and they were not being listened to and they were not being heard. And what we've been doing is helping revitalize their economy. Farming has never been better than it is right now, and so we've actively been doing things to help people around the community that felt like they had been forgotten about and neglected. So I just want to reassure people that, especially while I'm mayor, just because the focus has not been on you before in the past does not mean it never will be. Just give us a chance and be patient with us as we work our way through everything. So just patience is the key.
So real quickly, I just want to focus on your sentiment, Laz. Everything you said makes me confident that you're somebody who truly gets the spirit of why we are here and what we do here. That everybody is a part of the community and culture that makes this city what it is. When I think about the communities like Up and Atom that we have lost because they weren't given the attention or acknowledgement that they deserved, walk past that mural every time I go to get my chicken nuggies, it makes me sad. We need to focus on these communities. We need to make sure that these communities are heard, that they feel seen. When we lose communities like that, it makes our city less. We can ensure that by involving them every step of the way, making sure there is a process in which if they need something, whether it is to enable them or better facilitate their community, that they have a way forward to ask for those things and a plan made to get them. The whole community should be on the scene. Is why I've been going around to different communities in Southside, Grapeseed, Sandy, Polito, and I have been talking to these communities about, among themselves, voting for an ambassador, someone who they trust to speak on their needs, to speak on the things that they require, and to gather a city council of these individuals who will be ensured to have time, which will be taken out of the mayor and his staff's day to sit down and make sure that their needs are addressed. We will never have to remember communities like the Up and Atom, and instead we'll be able to continue to celebrate them as our neighbors. Thanks for the question.
I don't really have much to add that hasn't already been said. I very much echo the same sentiment a lot of us have brought up here. One thing I will say is I will do my best to try and hunt down people and like Make sure they're getting heard. Make sure that the complaints aren't going into like a fucking bottomless well. You know. I don't know.
So excited.
Hey, what's up? I'm Southside Jackson, aka Baby Baller Block, aka Final Boss of the Line. Listen, I had a really smart question, but I dozed off a couple times and I forgot it. So whoever can step up and tell me their best joke and make me laugh, you get the vote of all the blocks. Knock knock jokes are acceptable.
Okay, I guess Southside.
Fuck this up, dog.
Hey man, what do you call a priest with a 4-car garage?
I don't know what.
A prophet.
I gave you time, dog. You should have thought.
Good joke. Oh god.
Eddie.
I'm thinking. Okay.
I like that you came up to the microphone while thinking of your answer still.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know. I'm working on it. Okay. And listen. Rome wasn't built in a day, and this was just a joke. Okay.
Is that your joke?
You know what? Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
With that. All right. Team competition remaining 2.
Used to do the drug. I still do, but I used to too. Bless up. Up in heaven. The homie.
Mitch Hedberg call up. All right, get in line.
Here's a real corny one. I heard that someone in this crowd is possessed by an owl.
Who?
Yeah. Who?
Who?
There you go.
I don't get it. Who?
More like boo.
Who is
got
it?
Your vote? It's because owls say, when they make noises, they say who. There's also asking who's.
You know what? That was a good one, but I don't like being the butt of your joke, dog. Franklin wins.
Okay, so Franklin secured the votes of the block. Look at that.
Congrats, Franklin.
Just barely, Franklin, but I want you to work on that shit and bring me a good one later.
Got it, Southside.
You gotta be fair.
And
Make sure you ask
last
the
but
other
not
candidates
least.
too.
Behind me. I'm just gonna say I sleep. That's all you're gonna do.
All right. They just came up to me and showed me an ID that says Ian Knapp. We're just gonna wrap it up there. Thank you guys all for coming to this
Hello,
great
Mr. Knapp.
debate. We got here ended right as soon as we wanted to end it. Shout out to the candidates that showed up. Shout out to everybody that asked questions. Hopefully you guys learned things about the candidates. Educated yourself on their votes. Elections coming up soon. Make sure you use your vote. You do have that right. I hope you guys have a beautiful Thursday and happy voting.
Yeah. Woo!
Real quick, just a shout out to Eddie Concord and Public Works, as well as Bryce Miller and Miller Media for helping make this thing happen. We appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Bryce.
Fuck away from me, Ian.
Oh, he sleep.
Sleeps.
Look at him go.
Bye, Southside. See you later. I gotta go to the bathroom, dog. I've been holding it all.
Oh my god! Oh
Get
my
him,
god!
Ian.
What the hell?
Damn, Josephat.
Jay finished them off.
Was he Joseph